In the wake of the deadly Pahalgam terror attack, Army Chief General Upendra Dwivedi has arrived in Kashmir to assess the security situation. General Dwivedi was briefed by the 15 Corps commander about the actions being taken against the terrorists and Pakistan's attempts to violate the ceasefire along the line of control. Meanwhile, Jammu and Kashmir Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha has called for stern actions to bring those responsible for the attack to justice and dismantle terror infrastructure. In a related development, Union Home Minister Amit Shah is holding a crucial meeting today to discuss the Indus Water Treaty with Pakistan, focusing on its suspension as tensions in fact escalate. The Border Security Forces closed the Indo-Pak border for civilians, as well as the houses of the two terrorists now involved in the Pahalgam attack has been demolished. Meanwhile, the Senate of Pakistan has unanimously passed a resolution which rejects India's statements on the nation. This comes after Pak's foreign ministry's warning that any attempt by India to halt the flow of Indus River waters would be viewed as an act of war. Speaking at a weekly briefing, the ministry's spokesperson outlined a series of possible retaliatory actions against New Delhi. Let's listen in.
Or divert the flow of water belonging to Pakistan as per the Indus Water Treaty, and the usurpation of the rights of lower riparian will be considered as an act of war and responded with full force across the complete spectrum of national power. The National Security Committee underscored that Pakistan, its armed forces, remain fully capable and prepared to defend its sovereignty and territorial integrity against any misadventure, as clearly demonstrated by its mired yet resolute response to India's reckless incursion in February 2000.
Brian Thomas is joining us live for more details on this story. Brian, Pakistan, as always, rejecting the proof that stares them in the face, the evidence that they always continue to deny regarding, of course, the attacks that have transpired and the fact that the infiltrators were trained from Pakistan, and 2 out of the 3 were actually from Pakistan. Pakistan reportedly has denied this, even as Brian reportedly the Home Minister chairs a meeting on Jammu and Kashmir, and the houses of the terrorists are demolished as well.
Well, Uday, clearly, now very importantly, Khwaja Asif also, who is the Pakistan's defense minister, has said regarding the ongoing situation and the Indus Water Treaty, also clearly stated that this will call for an all act of war. Clearly, this was said by him. And very importantly, also, India has taken many such key decisions also, with the suspension of Indus Water Treaty or the suspension of the SAARC visa. So India had taken a lot of important steps, and even now at 4 p.m. also, just a while back, the Home Minister itself chaired a very important meeting also with the Union Jal Shakti ministries and everyone to ensure to talk more about and assess the situation of the water treaty as well. Very importantly, yes, 2 houses of Adil and Asif also were demolished in Tral, and another very important place in South Kashmir also was demolished by security forces. And ahead of that, also very importantly, the tourism has also been severely affected also because of the terror attack that happened on 22nd itself, that costed 26 lives of innocent tourists and 17 who were left injured itself for there. Yes.
Absolutely. Brian, if we talk now about the situation on ground, the 2 terrorist houses have been demolished. Meanwhile, we're learning that border movement has been restricted for civilians. Since you're reporting from Srinagar in Jammu and Kashmir, give us all the details happening on ground.
Well, Uday, I like to show you the visuals also. We are the very famous Dal Lake also, which is considered to be a very heavy touristy place. It offers Shikhara rides, which is a very bustling area in normal times. You can see the view also. It's a beautiful, majestic view, but it brings a lot of question when you see this situation now. It gives you a very alarming situation also when you see that it looks vacant. These shikaras also, which should be apparently on waters itself, taking tourists on rides, on water rides, boat rides, are all stranded on left side of the water. They are all stranded. They are all there. They are not on waters, and you can see there is no one except few locals. The tourist population is clearly near about zero. also, and it shows you the ground reality, it shows you the ground picture of how difficult the situation is, where the tourism, which even claims to be the backbone of Kashmir also, has been severely affected. You can see there's hardly any tourists on waters, and this is a peak season. It's what, 5:43 now. It is a pleasant weather out here, and people would like to come to Kashmir in the summers also, especially from Delhi, to escape from the heat. But after 20 seconds itself, the tourists are just trying to leave the place, trying to evacuate the place because of the fear that is engulfed between them. You can see these visuals. I request my camera person to show and pan around the entire visuals also of the shikara. There's hardly any shikara on water, and hardly where you see tourists also. They are just a few of us, reporters, and maybe few locals also who are here. But apart from that, the tourist place, which is a very high touristy place, which is a very high tourist destination, is completely vacant, and there's hardly anyone here. Uday.
Major General G.D. Dwivedi, Global Strategic Affairs expert, is also joining us now on the broadcast. Major General Dwivedi, Pakistan, as always, of course, rejecting the proof that stares it in its face. The Senate reportedly convened a meeting and passed a resolution denying what India has said in a sham exercise. Meanwhile, Major General Dwivedi, of course, the situation on ground remains pretty tense.
Absolutely, Uday, because Pakistan doctrine is proxy war, and it is the terrorists who prosecute this war. And it has been actually acknowledged by the Pakistan leadership a number of times. Like even Musharraf had said that the terrorists are heroes. So therefore, Pakistan will always deny, because Pakistan army doctrine is only a proxy war, and it doesn't come as a surprise. But the second point is that how we are actually going ahead with this situation. That's very important, because Pakistan has not learned the lessons. We have been fighting this proxy war for last 3 decades, and we did take certain stern actions like Uri strikes, even Balakot, but Pakistan has not mended its ways. So therefore, we need to now rethink on different strategies, because Pakistan, until it is deterred, until we destroy the complete infrastructure of militants and its army pays the price, they are not going to go away. And therefore, I think number of actions are on the card, and this time there is not going to be rap on the knuckles. It's going to be a very, very tough, deliberate and impactful response, and which is going to come. Already the warning shots have been fired by undertaking couple of diplomatic political steps, which you mentioned also, and which are basically in this water treaty has been suspended, the Atari border have been closed, the embassies have been scaled down, visas have been cancelled. Now this is just only the curtain raiser, but actually the response will come. And today the chief was there in Srinagar, and I'm sure the plans are being reviewed, they are being redefined, and in time to come, we'll see certain ground action, which is going to be very impactful. But all I can say, Uday, this time, is have to be war, fight to finish, and that's what is important. And this has to be fought on number of fronts: political, economical, and of course military. Uday.
All right, Major General Dwivedi, in fact, stay with us. I want to also ask you, in fact, about the Army Chief's visit as well now, because the Army Chief, General Dwivedi, is in fact in Srinagar currently. What do you believe is on the agenda of his visit to the valley? We're also learning, meanwhile, that the Union Home Minister is chairing a meeting, in fact, currently at his residence. This, we are told, pertains to the Indus Water Treaty. How important are both these developments, Major General Dwivedi?
Well, Uday, Srinagar and Valley is today in the focus, because the instances happened there. So therefore, Chief is rightly there. And when a senior officer visits, we always have ready plans. But those plans have to be reviewed. He will assess the situation on the ground. And also, more importantly, to the senior commanders, he has to communicate what is the intent of the government and how it is to be executed on the ground. So therefore, these visits are very important to tie up the plans, to review the plans, and also certain more allocation of resources. All these are on the cards, and very importantly, he has to see the situation on the ground and also review the plans And then also, when and if the situation will actually be executed or the plans will be executed. So therefore, I think this visit is to fine tune the plans, also to take ground situation into cognizance and ensure that there is no mismatch between the political intent and the military execution. So as far as Indus Water Treaty is concerned, I think this is the right step. In fact, today this should have been taken years back. In 2016 also, India has put forward that we need to review this treaty. I think the government has taken a very apt step because though its impact at the moment may not be felt, but it's a long slingshot. And in time to come, Pakistan will realize that it will come on the knees because the water is so very important for the agriculture. And Pakistan, mind you, is an agrarian society. 23% of its GDP comes from agriculture. So they are going to feel the pinch. And in meantime, I am sure we will create necessary infrastructure so that we can utilize the waters of the three western rivers, namely Indus, Chenab, and Jhelum. Uday.
All right, Major General Dwivedi, appreciate you joining us with your perspective on that big story. Also, thanks to Brian Thomas, who joined us earlier.